What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwin.
And we're back at it in another For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. That is what Te Mande a la Bird did. He asks, is a demon Primarch the most powerful champions of the Chaos Gods? Or is there anything more powerful than that? So let's first explain the hierarchy. First let's explain what a demon Primarch really is. A demon Primarch is exactly what it says. It's a Primarch that has been blessed most often. I think they're all blessed by one Chaos God.
A single god, yeah.
And in the pantheon or the hierarchy of demonhood, I think the demon Primarchs are at the very top.
One can argue maybe the greater demons, like at least the named ones. Like you have like Scabiathrax and Angrath. Those maybe, if not on the same playing field, maybe a little above or a little below the demon Primarchs. Because they're doing all this just on their own demonic power. Like they don't rely on their demonic or their Primarch abilities, psychic abilities, or training. It's literally all just demon warpness.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is if there was a demon that has been blessed by all demons or by all Chaos Gods, like Be'lakor, that might be as strong as maybe a demon Primarch, demon Primarch. But even then, I think they're pretty even, like you said, on the playing field or in the battlefield. And really, you wouldn't have a demon Primarch fighting against another demon. Because the Chaos Gods wouldn't want that.
Yeah, like we were trying to think of like some instances where like Magnus fight against the greater demon of Khorne, but I can't think of anything like that.
Yeah, no, not off the top of my head anyways.
Like the only time I feel like they'd be together is like during like one of Abaddon's Black Crusades.
Yeah, but even then, they're just working together.
Right.
Good question though. Next one.
This one's by Defool06. So, each Space Marine chapter has its own unique traditions and cultures within its respective chapter. So that being said, which Space Marine chapter has the coolest graduation or induction ceremony to new Battle Brothers?
That's a good question.
I'd say, like, it wouldn't be like cool or like awesome if you were going through it, but I feel like the Space Wolves have a pretty gnarly one.
Yeah, they have their little trial where it's just like in 300 or the Spartans. They get thrown into the wilderness and then they have to come back alive.
For some reason, whenever I think of the Space Wolves induction ceremony, that's what I picture in my head. The scene in 300 with like the little kid stalking the wolf.
Yeah.
And he comes back with like the pelt on him.
Yep. Another really cool one, I can't remember what chapter it was. It was one of the Ultramarine successor chapters, but their whole thing is that they have to climb this giant pyramid, and then if whoever gets to the top, the neophyte that gets to the top gets to become the Space Marine, and only one can be chosen. So the neophytes actually have to kill each other until there's only one, and then I think in the lore it made the suggestion that the pyramid itself is actually a Necron tomb complex. So you have, what are those things?
The scarabs and the wraiths and all that?
Yeah, the wraiths. The wraiths that are like patrolling. So this neophyte essentially has to fight wraiths. They're not, the tomb world is not fully awakened for some reason. So it's not like, the wraiths are just like defending. They're not really going after the thing. Or the neophyte, but still, it's badass.
Yeah, it's kind of like American Gladiator.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's got like a 4-part question. So, which Space Marine chapter has the coolest victory celebration?
Drinking the blood of your fallen or of your enemies, that's pretty cool, I guess. The flesh tearers do that.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say same thing with the Space Wolves. You have like a big like banquet, pretty much.
Yep.
Funeral rites.
I think most funeral rites are the same. A pyre gets lit, and then the Space Marine is either lit on fire in the pyre, or they're just sent out into the void. You guys have asked in the past, like, how do Chaos Space Marines recruit? There might be, or you could incorporate into your Chaos Space Marine warband the idea that there's Chaos Space Marines or their servants who just follow chapters around and wait for them to send out these like dead
Space Marines.
Yeah, and then the gods like revive them, especially if it was like Nurgle, because Nurgle can like cancel death.
Yeah. And the last one is any ritual that's unique amongst them.
The most, I guess this is gonna sound redundant, but like the Blood Angels, all their successor chapters have some type of ritual that has to do with blood. One of them actually bathes in blood right before they go into battle. I forget what they're called. There's some other ones that actually like consume some type of drug, and then they have a vision that like the drug is inside a cup of blood, and then they have a vision of a demon asking them like, I can get rid of the red thirst for you. Do you like agree to fight with me? And then it's up to them to decide whether they want to follow the demon or follow the emperor. And I think only one has ever gone towards the demon, and that person ended up becoming a traitor, leader of a warband.
I haven't heard of that. That sounds pretty badass.
Yeah, it's funny because like we've done so many lore videos on Space Marine chapters, and they all just kind of blend together in my mind now. I can't really pick out, like I know the specific or the cool ones like the Carcharodons and like the Mantis Warriors and those that like really stick on. But there are a lot of Space Marine chapters that are very basic in their names, like the Angels Revenants, the Angels Retribution, the Retribution Angels. So it's kind of like they have really cool backstories, but their names don't really like
make them sound cool or like make them distinguished.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Good question, DeFool.
Next question comes from Varanus Pulo. How many and or what type of Space Marines, such as chaplains or apothecaries, are needed to create or replenish a chapter? How many casualties is too much for a chapter to recover from?
There's not a lot of apothecaries in a single chapter.
No, I think the apothecarium is full of 5, and then there's 1 apothecary per company. It's a total of 15. If those 5 aren't already included as part of the ones for the companies, which they might be.
I think they are.
Yeah. So minimum of 10, but yeah, that's like nothing. And the answer is like you only need 1 Space Marine or 1 Battle Brother to survive. As long as they're Fortress Monastery, whether it's on a fleet or like on a space station or it's on a planet, as long as that stays intact, their gene stores are in that Fortress Monastery, and they could just rebuild from that stuff.
No, you could say your whole chapter's dead, but if you can at least get to the body, you can extract their gene seed.
That's true, too.
So you don't have to have 1 living member, just at least a body that you can get to.
Yeah, and their ranks won't replenish like right away. Because there have been stories of this happening, and then it takes like a couple millennia for that chapter to bounce back.
Yeah, even during the Horus, or not the Horus Heresy, but like back in 30K, I think it was the Thousand Sons, they were never at full battle ready numbers, so they were fighting alongside other chapters.
Yep.
Or other legions is what they were called back in the day.
Yep. So it's difficult to create Space Marines, but as long as 1 survives, you should be good. Next question.
This one is by the Mandela Bird. How many orcs does it take to screw in a light bulb?
None, because it's the Gretchen that would screw in the light bulb. That's the purpose of Gretchen. The Gretchen are there just to do like the annoying things.
Menial tasks.
So none. It would just take 2 Gretchens.
But aren't Gretchens still orcs?
They're orcoids. I think that's what the lore says. Orcoids. Because an orc is just like a regular orc boy.
Orc man.
Mork man.
Or was it Gork man?
Gork man. Sticking with the orc theme, the big one asks, if orcs come from fungus, would tough acting tenactin and other cures for athlete's foot work on them? It would be cool if you could spray an orc and make them melt like butter. I don't think they would necessarily melt, but I bet you that kind of stuff does work. Like, I'm sure that the Imperium, if they study orcs long enough, they can find some type of pesticide or some type of fungus-killing thing that they can spray, kind of like, what's that, like tear gas? And it would affect the orcs, because the orcs they kind of have a respiratory system, but it's very, very tough. So, like, it would be cool if the Imperium, or in the lore later on, the Imperium developed some type of smoke that, like, shuts down an orc's body. So, like, his rage and everything or his mind is still alive, but his body is just, like...
A vegetable.
Yeah, a vegetable. Yeah, because he would just become a giant vegetable.
There you go.
That'd be cool to put in the lore.
That would really suck, though. Like, you have all this anger and hate and you can't move.
Yeah. Tough acting to acting. It does the job. Next question.
This one is by the Mandela Bird. If there is 2 or more planets inhabited by the Imperium in a solar system, does each planet have a planetary governor? Or is there one in charge of both planets? Who did they decide which planet governs which?
It's really up to whoever colonized the sector or the world to decide how many planetary governors and what they actually control. There is nothing within the Imperium that says, like, only one planetary governor per world or per planet. As long as you're paying your tithes, the planetary governor or the sector governor can do whatever they want.
It's all in the tides, baby.
And as long as they're not, like, working with Xenos or doing other heretical stuff.
Right. Or else you get a sniper bullet.
Yeah.
Michael Howell. Since currently chapters are being reinforced by the Primaris Marines, how do the chapters that don't know which legion did I send from get new Primaris recruits? So he's asking, like, obviously if you're Blood Angel, you're going to get Blood Angel Primaris Marines. But if you don't know your origins, like, do they just give you, like, oh, you're getting Ultramarine reinforcements?
You're asking too many questions, man. No, I honestly think that there is some type of device that the Adeptus Mechanicus has that can read the gene seed of, whatever Space Marine chapter it is. What they do is they choose not to acknowledge the fact that these chapters that come from
traitors.
Yeah, they come from traitors where they're like, oh, they're hidden or they're unknown foundings. In reality, like the Adeptus Mechanicus and that sample of gene seed shows that they come from the Thousand Sons. It shows that they come from, whatever traitor chapter it is.
That's why the Blood Ravens still have Primaris.
Yeah.
Because rumor has it, it's their Thousand Sons.
Yeah, because then it wouldn't make sense. Like, the Red Thirst, the Wolfen Curse, all of that should be known and should have been stopped. But the Adeptus Mechanicus are hush-hush about it. Because there must be some type of deal. And I think that deal is just like, go ahead, tell them. Then, we don't protect you guys.
Yeah, right.
Last question. I have one from the Fool06. How does orc interstellar travel work? Or how does an orc acquire interstellar travel? So orcs travel through the means of giant rocks. Rocks are just asteroids or any type of debris that's big enough to house like a bunch of orcs, and then they put rockets on them, and then they fly those rockets to wherever. And when I say fly, it really just means that they turn the rockets on and then they just go.
Yeah.
There's really no direction. Some of them even crash land. Most of them crash land on their own planets. Some of them are lucky enough to be led by a war boss that knows how to control a weird boy or knows how to access the warp in some way. They can travel through the warp, but they don't have Geller fields. So as soon as they get into the warp, like, craziness starts happening. Weird boys' heads explode and, like, demons gush out. But to the orcs, that's fun.
Right.
Because the orcs get to kill all those demons.
Is it able to move interstellarly with a, like the teleporter? Or is it just short jumps?
I think they're short jumps. And I don't think it's interstellar. The teleporters are an orc technology designed by the famous orc Orchimedes. For Gatskull Magorg Thraka, and he used these giant teleporters to push back the Tyranids in the what is it called? The Octavius War or the Octarius War. It's really cool because like God School's he doesn't even have rocks anymore. He actually has battleships. But his battleships arrived. I don't know what they're called. They can't be called battleships. What's something orky? Big Crushes? I don't know. But they arrived into the system, and then they sent these like giant fortresses, and then they just started seeing green flashes, and like orcs just started pouring. But it is just planet to orbit. Nothing crazy like from Armageddon to Terra.
That'd be stupid crazy. Because then they'd be wherever they... Like, their influence on the galaxy would be more widespread.
Oh, yeah.
And then be really bad for everyone.
For everybody.
Even the orcs.
Yeah. And those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Don't forget we have a Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos for you guys. And thank you.
Give us that thumbs up because this man was on fire today. His questions were just being answered with that Gersh oneness.
Yes.
So, yeah. Thumbs up. Comment down below, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, if you took up my freedom.